of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lucy, will you call the roll?
Ginger Shank,
Here.
Deanna Wires,
Here.
Sarah James, Frankie Schwartz,
Here.
Jeff Schneider,
Here.
Rich Barton,
Here.
and Carolyn Sprague. Here. We have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. I would entertain a motion to amend or adopt the agenda.
I make a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll second that.
All right, motion's been made and seconded to adopt the agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. We have board norms next. I think we're all familiar. And so that brings us to recognitions. Frank, you're over.
Yes, I have really recognitions.
Sorry.
Let's do this microphone real
We
fast.
got to that real
Yeah.
quickly.
Okay. All right. So tonight is, we're recognizing the Board of Education for their wonderful service to their community. It is Board of Education Month, Recognition Month, so we're recognizing you. So thank you guys for all that you do. It's a thankless job, and you get paid $0. So everyone knows it's a volunteer job. So thank you all for that you do, and for the kids of our community. It's really a pleasure to work with you. I appreciate all of you very much. So we have some certificates, and we'll get a picture, and we have the nice throws.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah, that's it. Lucy did. Lucy did a great job.
Very nice.
This was early childhood makes
How cool is
Aren't
that?
they cute?
That is so cool.
I know, I wish they could have been here to present them. They're all free.
You deserve a hand. I like that.
I know. Aren't they cute?
That is so
You guys
cool.
want to kind of stand around here?
Yeah, I was
Show you guys
thinking.
tonight. They all did their
Everybody else
hands
can
in.
maybe sit.
They're really cute.
Everybody else stand behind us.
You're the president.
We also had a delicious feast from Deb Linkley, from food service, which we appreciate too, so.
Rich. I don't know if you guys want to hold those. We have multiple. If you want to hold some of those,
You guys
we
want to
can.
hold, each hold one?
Yeah, they
They're
are
so cute.
Yeah, that's great.
Ginger?
What a match.
Come on over this way.
Yeah, Rich, can
Four
you
and
get,
fifth.
yeah, that's.
All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Go, Chi. Okay, thank you, board.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
We have another recognition here. Yeah.
I didn't
One
sign
more.
a certificate.
It came from
This
MSBA.
this one's even more fancy than us.
Sorry. we
Big
have this
time.
really
Big time.
fancy one, yay.
So we have Lucy Swales. We're recognizing Lucy for her advanced certification, board secretary certification, which is not an easy thing to accomplish, and very few board secretaries have achieved that. So quite the honor, and we're really thankful for Lucy and all that she does. And it's just great. So
That's awesome.
thanks.
Yes, and we already knew Lucy was special before she got this certificate, so.
All right. Good. Good.
Thank you. Thank you.
There you are, ma'am. Leave it back to you.
Thanks. Thank you.
You told me I like that.
Righty. Do we have any patron comments? Okay. So next order of business is superintendent reports.
Yes, so we have, our first up is our at-risk program, which is going to be Miss Alford from Alpha Academy. You probably need to click her. We didn't do a great job setting up today. Some days are better than others. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone.
Should be good.
I got it.
And
before I go ahead, I do want to express my appreciation for the Board of Education. You all have been so supportive in all the years I've been here. So thank you for the work you do.
Okay, next.
Oh, I'm on now? Okay. So Alpha Academy, our objectives, okay, which one do I hit?
Go to the right.
Right, okay. Our objectives have stayed the same. Our mission has always stayed the same, to serve students in reaching their full potential in a non-traditional setting. And that keeps looking different and different every year. Objectives: providing opportunities for academic achievement and high school completion while maintaining high expectations, acquiring essential skills, and definitely promoting career readiness. How do you get to Alpha Academy? Not this year, but last year, we developed this flow chart that shows how you get to Alpha Academy if you're a current student of the Warren County R-3 school district, and if you're, because we were starting to find more new students to the Warren County R-3 school district who were coming straight to Alpha Academy. So we had to develop a procedure that made it crystal clear how to get in. First, you must be a student in the district to get into Alpha Academy. And the process involves the high school counselors and administrators and us, so that it's crystal clear. You don't, every student at Alpha Academy is not a mystery. They have a connection to the high school administrators and counselors know about them. And if they receive services from the special education department, everybody is in the know. So there are no loopholes or kids falling through the cracks. Programming, we continue to have an alternative to traditional and credit recovery program. We also have the Missouri Options program, which this year we've had way less students go through that, which is quite encouraging, because we've been able to offer more opportunities to allow students to graduate with 25 credits and out, despite being credit deficient. We also house the Positive Alternative for Students of Success, which is popularly known as the PASS program. It is the program for students who are in the midst of a long-term suspension. Dr. Ross assigns students to that program. I usually refer to it as an off-site ISS, so that students can keep connection in a school setting, or what's close to a school setting as possible. The Alpha Academy schedule still remains the same for the credit recovery and credit acquisition programs. The PASS program students are there all day. And then the curriculum and course delivery. Alpha Academy will continue to follow the district's approved curriculum and course requirements. We continue to work towards a transition to Canvas next year. I know this year was a little challenging. Thank you, Dr. Blingus.
We're good there, we're good.
The goal is that by April, courses are tested both in the high school and Alpha. Alpha Academy is also working in conjunction with the Extension Office and Agape on projects, activities tied to elective courses. Also, speaking of elective courses, one of the programs that we started this year is something called the Warrior Buddy Program. Right now, we have 3 students. We started with 5, we're down to 3. We have 3 students that are actually going to Warrior Ridge Elementary School once a week to work with students in the elementary classes. And they do get an elective credit for that as well. We're hoping, and special thanks to Brandy Patterson on that, and working, taking that leap of faith to work with us on this program. We're just starting it, and we're hoping to continue it next year. Other wraparound services that we provide, we definitely not without the help of others in the district. Educational support counselors, Officer Pape, and actually not just Officer Pape, the other SROs actually are very supportive. Compass Health Network, we open our buildings for them to come and see students. Youth in Need, particularly for our teen parents or expectant teens. Recently this year, thanks to Dr. Ross, we have a soft partnership now with Preferred Family Health, and we're looking to continue that even on a larger scale next year. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm just going.
It's all right.
I am so sorry. Oh my God.
You're
Keep it going.
Well, because I mean,
I
like,
know.
I know because I was just telling my husband on the phone, I said, usually it's a time limit, and he was looking at me, I was looking at his I was like,
You're fine.
Just to always tell everybody that you do not have an unlimited amount of time, 3 to 5 minutes. If you can do it in 90 seconds, that's even better.
But no pressure.
No.
Okay, so building school community. We still are. Our partnership with the Elks, with the Warrington Elks, is 4 years strong, and we still do the Student of the Month program. Like I said earlier, the Warrior Buddy program is, starting. We're loving it. We have a full operating school garden now, and yes, we do have a greenhouse that we just got this year. Special thanks to the University of Missouri Extension Center. Mental Wellness Day, we're still doing that. NAMI still comes in and gives a presentation on ending the silence. We still work with the Elks on the Red Ribbons Week activities to promote drug awareness regarding drugs and drugs abuse. Other awareness activities we do, Pink Out for breast cancer awareness. And we also do, we also offer field trips that are career-based. And of course, our signature event that's career-based is the Next Step Expo. Actually, that's my favorite. In addition, students are encouraged with incentives to remain connected with the homeschool and by attending events, like the career fair. I always tell them I'd like to see you in nice prom dresses, and I want to go to prom and see you there. Patrons and friends of Alpha, like I've told you before, those are patrons and friends. More moments with friends. Actually one of my favorite is the salsa making. When we harvest the tomatoes from the garden, Miss Maureen comes in and she makes salsa with the kids, and they taste good. They taste good. My favorite I call it the most wonderful time of the year, our exit ceremony, when we celebrate the accomplishments of kids who have overcame a lot and are walking with their class at Alpha. So moving beyond 2025 and 6, we still look to become a central hub for students to jumpstart potential careers after high school, while addressing social emotional needs and completing high school in a non-traditional setting. To continue our goal of community engagement, Alpha Academy will continue our partnership with the Warrington Elks, serving as our patron. Actually, we have more patrons. The Warrington Elks are our main patrons, but when I think about all the other, Agape, Wise Foundation, our patrons are countless. While we build partnerships and create post-secondary opportunities for students, with Alpha Academy being the first year of implementing PBIS, which is quite encouraging because we had our walkthrough this year and the results came back very good last week. We basically scored 100% on our Tier 1. We will continue to work towards consistency in keeping with the AAA, which is our values at Alpha, attendance, academy, and attitude. And Alpha will continue efforts to increase social emotional learning for students by supporting and promoting mental wellness. I did send a report, and the numbers continue to change. As of today, right now we have 44 students that have completed through Alpha, 3 of which completed through the Missouri Options Program. And our current enrollment right now, I'm not quite sure how accurate this number is, but with the one that graduated today, it's probably at 40. On your report, it says 41. Seniors not on track, we have 5, but that could also reduce as well, because we have students that we thought were not on track, and as of PD, this past Monday, something happened.
Something good?
Something good happened. So, you know, we're just hopeful. Any questions?
No, I'm grateful that someone who's leading this building has what you said, it just has a lot of hope and that it's hopeful. I think that that's what every student needs, no matter where they go to school, but I'm glad that the students at Alpha have someone who's hopeful.
And I think we tend to forget sometimes that I was in a store a couple weeks ago, and one of your graduates saw me and recognized me and gave me a big hug, and he was so proud to tell me that he had just graduated. And so it's kind of cool to see the fruition of the programs that you run there. And I visited not too long ago and was
Yes.
super impressed, so very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have our special education report, Dr. Emily Turner.
Hello, hello. To honor my time limit, I'll just say it's going good. It is going very well, but I'll take a couple minutes just to share. So each year our office picks a theme, and this year we picked peace, love, and data, along with another theme that you'll see on the next couple slides. But our focus has really been on establishing systems so that we are consistent as referrals are made, evaluations are done, and services are implemented across buildings in the district. So our office team, is this going to work for me? Yeah, okay. So our office team worked a lot over the summer. We took a couple days before back to school and got together off-site, planned everything in detail, meetings, agendas, templates, and worked together to really create a seamless approach. We have one new team member this year. Our previous psych examiner retired, so we had a new team member join us. Otherwise, we had the same other 6 team members, so it was really nice to be able to have a second year, considering more than half of us were new last year. So that was really nice. And because of those systems and the hard work that's happening in the building, because really the teams of teachers that we have in our special education classrooms and our paras are, I'll put them up against anyone any day because they're doing such amazing work. So with all of that together, we've been able to streamline our systems for referrals, evaluations, and services, but also reduce our incident rates. Each year we report in each of those special education categories how many students we have, our percentage of students. And while we're still slightly above the state average, and all but one of our areas that is above the average for the state was decreased last year. And that's not to say that our students are not getting services. It means that we're meeting student needs in a variety of ways. It might be special education, it might be a 504, it might be building interventions, it might be general education. So we're working together to make sure that in one of those ways or multiple, we're able to meet every student's needs. We are working very hard to maintain, last school year we had our file review, and so of course the goal for a perfectionist is 100%. We were at 99.04%, but that's really good. So we just had one file that we had to make a correction on, sent it back in, it was perfectly fine once we made those little corrections, but they were very minor. And all of our reports this year, whether it was financial, compliance, all of the things I have to submit have been on time and met deadlines. So we're very excited about all of that. Moving forward, so our team, in addition to Peace, Love, and Data, this was born out of the SPED office team retreat. We have, so the golden thread is something that Desi preaches about, making sure that from the first day of concern of a student not being able to achieve to the same as their peers, all the way through services, staffing services and everything else, they want to see that golden thread. So whatever the concern is, it carries throughout all the paperwork, evaluations, and everything. So we thought, I love a theme, so why not Golden Girls, Golden Thread, tie them together. So our office, if you're ever in, stop by. We each are a character of the Golden Girls to carry the idea forward. So we provide monthly newsletters and PD through our newsletters. And then in our Monday PD sessions, we're working on identifying high leverage practices. So we've picked, as of this past Monday, we've picked 2 high leverage practices that research shows are highly effective with students who receive special education services. So next year, our focus is on implementing those 2 practices strategically to increase our growth even more. We continue our partnerships with all of our programs around the county, and so I just left them in here because they've been huge in supporting our students and families as they continue through our programs and beyond high school. So we look forward to continuing to make big impact with our students and families, and again, all thanks goes to our SPED teachers, paras, admin, gen ed teachers, just everybody working together to the amazing success that our students are showing. When you look at every building, it's just, again, I'll put them up against anyone, so I appreciate their hard work. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, our last report is just a finance report that we do every month, just so we kind of see where the money is, how it's tracking. Thank you, Lucy. So revenues, pretty close to last year at this point. We're up a little bit, about 1%, well, exactly 1%. And then expenses are pretty close as well, about 0.5% there. Fund balances are down just slightly because we do have more expensive. We actually have more money in the bank, but not enough to increase our fund balances to really need to be because we have more expenses. But anyway, here's our chart that we can kind of see. We are doing fine. You know, we're a little bit ahead of where we were 2 years ago, but below where we were before. I would imagine we'll see that trend probably end similar to where both years ended last year. Would be kind of my estimate of where we'll end up. So probably in that 38, 39% fund balance, kind of where I'm estimating we'll be there. So where's money coming from? What do we have going on? So local funds are up. So that's mostly our taxes, just our local taxes. County is down slightly, but not too far off, really. State, we're up. Again, we had the additional early childhood special education funding that we had some issues with getting funding on last year. And that's the same thing for the federal. We're seeing an increase in that due to special education funding not coming in last year. We had troubles on our end getting it processed and through. So we should see double payments this year in those areas. So that's just the extra money going forward. But so that's about where we are on that. Expenses, we have a few more expenses this year. Salaries are up because we gave raises. Benefits, purchase services continue to be higher for services that we didn't have last year, like SROs, which is great. So we're happy to have them. And so we just have a few more expenses in that area. And then special education expenses are up a little bit too. Supplies are about the same. We're off just a little bit. So up about $2 million in expenses from this time last year. But all in all, when we go back and look at our fund balance, things are going as projected. So capital projects, we have about 1.6 million in there for projects. We'll spend that down just like our other, the operational fund balance. We'll spend that down. Probably end up about a million. Hopefully around 1.2. If everything works out, but that's kind of where we will be on that. And then our bond issue, how are we doing on our funds? We've received revenue of 9.9 million. We've spent 1.3. We have about 8.5 remaining at this point. So we will start seeing that as the project moves along. bigger chunks coming out each month of that. And so, you know, I talked to LJ Hart about doing a refinancing now. I talked about how much money we had right now. They kind of felt with the volatility in the market, let's wait on selling bonds. Let's see, just we're okay on our cash flow right now. So we will in the next month or 2 or 3 have to do something with that to get additional cash flow, because $8 million is not gonna get the whole building built. So
No,
yeah,
definitely
so
not.
they're hoping to stretch it to August so we know exactly what our assessed value is and really just do it one time. But I don't think we have enough to make it all that way. So we'll just kind of be paying attention to that as we go along. And so that's the finances.
Anybody have any questions about finances? All right, if not, the next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. So unless someone wants to amend that, I would entertain a motion to approve it.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
All right, motion's been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. And that has been approved.
Jeff, you
Okay.
abstained from personnel.
Jim abstained from that?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you abstain? Okay.
Well, you didn't give me
That's-
that.
I did, but I
I'm
did out.
so sorry. I should have said any abstentions as well. I forgot that. I apologize. Okay, are we good, Lucy?
Mhm.
Okay, sorry, that was my
No, that's
fault.
okay.
Old business. And the first thing is our negotiations agreement.
Yeah, so this is our agreement for next year, and the process went really well, so thank you for all of you that were involved with that. We were able to get it done in one day, which is really fantastic, and that's really one of the great things about our district is we really have people that are all in the same mindset. We want to do what's best for kids in our community, and we're able to come to consensus on issues pretty quickly on things, so we really appreciate all of our teacher groups that give up their time to work together, and we really have a great working relationship with our staff, so it's one of the strengths of our district for sure. Whoa, this is hot mic. So just some things noteworthy. You know, teacher salaries, we'll get to that $40,000 minimum that's set by the state. So we'll be able to advertise that next year. And then hourly schedules that were below $15 will now start at $15 an hour. So we'll be meeting that requirement by the January 1st timeline of minimum wage. All of those additional, the amount of money is 4.7% increase that we will need to pay to cover that cost. That's not a 4.7% increase in raises for everybody, but that's just how much we would have to pay to cover that cost. So some people are seeing more than that, some are seeing less, but it's 4.7% is what it's taking for us to increase the salaries. And then Dr. Ross did a great job working with coaches to get a salary schedule based off the teacher salary schedule. So that was some really good work to get that accomplished. And then just some other noteworthy things. We talked about, you know, representation during meetings with administrators for staff, practice, you know, how do we report, what coaches report to practice at what time, blackout dates for school events, and coverage expectations for high needs parents were some of the things that we were able to work out and get into next year's agreement. Hopefully help us continue to have good working relationships with our staff.
And Ginger and Carolyn and I were all involved that day. I did answer a couple of questions previous to the meeting. Does anybody have any questions about anything that's on that now? Okay,
That went as smooth as it did.
I am
It's awesome.
too. That's always wonderful.
Good stuff.
Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the negotiated agreement as presented.
Thank you, Deanna.
I'll second.
Thank you, Jeff. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the negotiated agreement as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Abstentions?
Not this
Careful. Not this time. Nobody needs to do that. Okay, the motion is approved. And then we are on to new business, and the first thing is organ donation.
Yep, Missouri state law requires that we allow 30 minutes for a presentation on organ donation. As you remember,
My name is Kim Harbor.
Yes, now we have a video.
Co-founder.
Sorry.
Go ahead, let's go ahead. So they did not come in person this time. They did send a video, and so we'll play that video.
Okay.
And Director of Education for Gift of Life in Kansas City. In 2018, a law was passed that allows us to present to school boards in the state of Missouri about LearnLifesavers.com. But due to the large number of school districts, presenting in person is nearly impossible. So please accept this video presentation as a substitute for me being there in person. For the next 5 minutes, I will share information about LearnLifesavers.com, which is a free, unbiased, 30-minute online teacher self-guided lesson which provides education about organ, eye, and tissue donation. High school students need to be educated about donation when they apply for or renew their driver's license, and sharing their decision with a loved one is the most important step regarding donation. The goal of LearnLifesavers.com is to educate students about the question, do you want to be a donor? So when they apply for their driver's license or state ID, they can make an informed decision. This educational effort about donation is for lives saved and healed through organ, eye, and tissue donation. For the individuals waiting for a life-saving or life-healing transplant, and for individuals who die every day waiting for a life-saving transplant. LearnLifesavers.com was developed to educate all students in the state of Missouri about donation. LearnLifesavers.com is 8 easy steps in 30 minutes. Teachers will engage their students with provided questions and statements. Then they will show a short video. Then the teachers will ask students true-false questions, and the students will answer verbally. The teacher will then show a second short video, ask students true-false questions, and the students answer verbally. Additional resources are provided for teachers to enhance student learning, and at the end of the lesson, there's an easy way to report basic data, which includes teacher's name and email, school name and address, class subject, number of students reached, and the date LearnLifesavers.com was presented. No information is collected about students, and the collected data is never shared. This data is important for tracking outcomes. There's also an option for a student self-guided lesson. LearnLifesavers.com relates to specific grade level expectations and aligns with the Missouri Learning Standards, giving your school district the flexibility to provide the education in one or more subject areas or courses. LearnLifesavers.com may be used in health, science, or even partnered with the CPR mandate. You know your school community. Therefore, you should decide where it fits best in your high school. LearnLifesavers.com may be used in all high school grade levels. Within the supporting materials that have been provided is a list of school districts in Missouri that are educating their high school students about organ, eye, and tissue donation. I've also provided commonly asked questions regarding organ donation. After the board votes, your superintendent will complete the letter of participation form and send it to me for our records. My husband and I founded the nonprofit Gift of Life, located in Kansas City 25 years ago. LearnLifesavers.com was modeled after our Lifesavers High School program, which offers in-person presentations. Gift of Life has educated over 450,000 high school students and their families. Our son Luke received a life-saving liver transplant at 11 months old. He was given 2 years to live without an organ donor. He will soon turn 29. I will be forever grateful to his donor family for giving him a second chance. Missouri can be a national leader in educating high school students about organ, eye, and tissue donation. Please vote in favor to implement LearnLifesavers.com, because together we can save one life at a time.
All right, and so you'll notice on there that Warrenton High School is already listed on that, schools that do this, but that is an error. I don't know where that came from. We can't seem to find that it's actually happening at the high school, but they did list us on there somehow, for some reason.
Didn't she come talk to us?
Yeah, I think so,
a year ago
yeah.
or
I'm trying to
something?
find what meeting it was.
It was
But-
before I was on the board.
Oh,
I was sitting over there.
okay, okay,
So
well
2
that,
years
so
ago?
it was at least
Yeah,
2 years
I'm-
ago,
Yeah,
at least.
It was
This
my
is-
first year.
yeah, this is my third.
It's been a little while.
I'll be third in April,
Okay.
so potentially It was 3 years ago. Okay.
It's a
Good
good time,
idea.
time flies.
It's a good
Yeah,
idea.
yeah, so we'd be fine with implementing it. It's optional for the teachers.
So you just make it available to
Mhm.
all high school teachers?
Probably the
to-
health class where we
Yeah.
place that health. is where
Yeah,
it
that
most
makes sense to me. Okay. Would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the Learn Lifesavers program at the high school.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve the Learn Life program for the high school. Are there any questions or any further discussion before we vote? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
Okay. And motion passes. SCI updated contract.
Yep, so they have, they actually left off, a special inspection on settlement plates was omitted in the original contract, so this is just correcting that
This is for the
omission.
new building.
So this is for the
If you're-
new building, yeah, this is,
Okay.
we have another contract from them in a minute, but this is just kind of fixing a contract that wasn't done correctly. And we want them to please inspect those plates. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's important.
I'd recommend we would move forward with this.
Does anyone have any questions about that?
So they didn't include that, so we have additional charges?
Well,
Or are they
kind of,
covered?
yeah, we would be paying for this, but it was just something that was originally not in the contract initially. And we need that done.
I
Yeah,
totally agree,
right.
but, yeah.
Yeah, it was just an error.
So it wasn't in the bid?
Well, not necessarily the bid, this is just part of, so this is still under our umbrella of the cost of this is just the engineering side of it.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract as presented.
Thank you, Rich. Thank you, Deanna. Are there any questions or further discussion? Carolyn, you good? Yeah. Okay, I'm just watching you and making sure, because, yeah, I know. Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes. And that brings us to the staffing plan.
Yep, so we have our new staffing plan for 25, 26. Next year's new positions that we're requesting would be an executive producer of broadcasting. And this would be a self-funded position through advertisements. We would sell 16 spots on every broadcast that we would do that would have a logo of a business, and we think they could fund that position. I was already talking to some people today about it, and I don't think we'll have any problem selling these spots. But, you know, we'll see how it goes, but, you know, that's my initial reaction to it. So that would be a self-funded position, something that would fund itself. Then the other piece we would have is a special education teacher at the middle school. We have an increased number of students that have disabilities that need support there. That's just something we have to do. Then we have two positions in here, or I'm sorry, three positions in here just for growth, that if we need them, we'll use them. You know, the fourth grade at Rebecca Boone's kind of on a bubble for next year. So we're just kind of looking at some of that. We wanted to have that in the position, in the staffing plan just in case. So that's one teaching position, two high needs, just as buffer positions that we'll only use if needed.
What's the salary we're looking at, range-wise, for the broadcast?
Sure, broadcast, so what that person would be is the teacher salary, so basically teacher salary plus commission on sales. So 40,000 plus 1/3 of commission.
And this is a full-time job?
Yes, full-time.
I think you just answered my question, but this position is responsible for the sales of the ads. Yes.
Yeah, I'll probably kick it off and try to close some deals now to get it locked in, but yeah, they'll also be in charge. And there's gonna be other options for sales, like on-air ads, you know, funding, you know, player of the game sort of stuff, sponsorships in that regard. So this could grow in options for sales. but this person will be in charge of the sales, making sure those things are, you know, we'll have in-game broadcast, making sure we're doing that every time, you know, just making sure all those things are done, coordinating everything about it, from, you know, sales to, you know, promotion of the broadcast, to doing the broadcast, setting up, making sure we've got camera people, and just everything about it.
So this gets you out of.
Yeah, I would. I'm gonna miss it. I've loved it. It's been so much fun. My wife would be very happy that this is but I have truly loved watching our kids.
Yeah.
Like I've not been able to watch them this closely, really ever, and it's been so fun to see so many talented kids do so many great things. And so I have a feeling I'm still gonna be pretty active in it, even if I'm just a camera guy on the side or something like it.
That's awesome.
But it would get it off your plate for the most
Sure,
part,
and
right?
really, it's not
Because-
sustainable for the superintendent of schools to be doing this,
No.
like, long-term. At some point, I am going to retire at some point down the road, you know, not anytime soon, but, so.
We've all
we
been
right.
concerned about your time.
So we want to put systems in place that can last, and this has been extremely popular. You know, I'm estimating we'll probably have somewhere between 200,000 views of all of our events throughout the year. And that's a tremendous outreach to our community. It's what our people want to see. They're like us, they want to see our kids do well. And if we can put together a high-quality program highlighting our kids and their success, I think that really is going to be beneficial to us. And if we can do it without using district funds, even better.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got people all over the country tuning in. It's awesome. Former students, former athletes.
Move to approve the staffing plan as presented.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second it.
Is there any further discussion or any other questions? I know Sarah had asked you a couple of questions about adding another grounds person. And I think, don't you think by the time we have the building ready to open, we're probably going to need.
Yeah, we're going to need additional staff in all areas in
Right.
there. So
Right.
from grounds, custodial, cooks,
Right.
I mean, those are all things we're going to have to add
Right.
at that time. But, you know, right now we're pushing salaries pretty good,
Right.
and that'd just be another about $40,000 expense that
Right,
probably just not in the budget.
right. I just thought it was worth
Yeah.
mentioning when we're talking about stuff, because we are trying to think ahead too.
Absolutely.
For that, but, I know it's probably a need, so. Okay, if nobody has anything else, we have a motion on the floor, so we will take a vote. All those in favor of the staffing plan, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. And the staffing plan is passed. And the next thing is latchkey rates.
Yeah, so it's, no one likes to increase rates on anything ever, but, you know, with raising cost of employees and just expensive hiring people, we're going to need to do a little bit of a bump. We haven't increased it in at least 7, 8 years. I was trying to find the last time we had. It's been a long time since we've had any increase at all. But this will cover the cost, and this program is to operate independently and not be a deficit program. It's supposed to fund itself. And so to cover the cost and increase of salaries, we would need to see a little bit of an increase. So we're recommending essentially 50 cents per session. So if you're there morning and afternoon, to be $1 a day increase. And that still is way below anyone else in the area on cost for childcare.
These numbers, like $15, $16.50,
Yeah.
is that for the week? Is that, can you just tell me?
Sure. So the way we allow people to enroll in the program, so like AM only, so some people just need mornings. So if you're there 3 days or less, we charge you currently $15 for that time.
Per week.
Per week.
That's
Yeah,
all I
per
was
week.
checking.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
checking if those were weekly rates.
Yep, weekly
Yes.
rates, yes.
For 3 days or less, or if it's 4 or 5 days, right now it's 25 for the morning session, right?
Right, correct.
I'll make a motion to approve the latchkey rates as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Barton.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments or discussion? If not, all those in favor of approving the latchkey rates for 25-26 school year, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. And we are ready to talk about bus bids.
Yep, so bus bid's here.
Bid.
Yep, bus bid, right, so we only received one, which is fine. I think Midwest has been our provider for a long time. I think most people realize they're the low bid. But anyway, so we just received the one, but bus prices have gone up.
Wow.
I remember they were $85,000. Now they're $164,000. So, you know, we're hoping to buy 4, but we really just don't have the money to do that. So we're recommending to buy 3 new buses at $494,787.
That still keeps us on track to kind of keep to our goal
A
of,
little bit behind. 4 is where we need to be.
Okay.
4 or 5, we're a little bit behind, but it's better than nothing.
Right.
Yeah, and the fleet will be in good shape. I think it'll be fine.
In our fleet, how many older buses do we have compared to the newer buses?
Yeah, so we had a big year, so we kind of go back to the history of bus purchases. When things got really bad in 2007 and 8, we didn't purchase buses for a long time. And then even when we got in trouble again, the second time we had kind of a delay. So then we leased a bunch of newer buses. So we have quite a few buses that are newer, and so we're not too far behind in our years. So, you know, we're talking to the transportation department, they're comfortable with 3, felt like we're okay. But we want to be in kind of that 10% rotation every year, so you don't have any buses over 10 years eventually. But we'll be a little bit behind that now.
What fund does this come out of?
Fund 4, so it'll be Fund 4, yeah.
Do we sell old buses, like when we're done with them, or do we just get off? the lease?
Well, kind of. We try to trade them in or get rid of, I mean, if you try to sell a bus, you might get $1,500, $2,000 maybe for it. So we try to trade them in to get something.
whatever
I
we
mean,
can.
not a big market for used school buses, so.
Canoe rentals.
Unless you're
Yeah,
gonna-
canoe rentals.
I drove them all the time.
Yeah.
And they weren't very good.
Because they could just replace them for another couple $1,000.
I know,
Like, get
they
a
got
flat
me-
tire, don't
I
worry
can
about
make a
that, let's
phone-
get a new
I'll make a phone
used
call.
bus. You know?
Make some phone calls.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to buy a used bus, they're not very expensive. So a lot of times we'll keep one just for parts.
Sure.
We'll just have a parts bus.
Yeah. Makes sense.
It's more valuable to us than trying to get it in.
Is there a motion?
There isn't yet, but
I'll
entertain
make a
one.
motion to approve purchasing 3 new buses from Midwest Transit Equipment for a total of $494,787.
Thank you, Carolyn. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Jeff. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the purchasing of 3 buses from Midwest Transit Equipment. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes. And then we have the global stability
Right, so,
analysis.
yeah, in our, construction meetings, they were talking about putting up the retaining wall for the new building. And one of the concerns was the ground being stable enough, and they wanted to do additional testing to make sure that it was good. So this could, if it comes back as more problematic than what we originally expect, this could be increased costs to the project. If it comes back good, it could be exactly what we think. So just to be on the safe side, so the wall doesn't fall down or something like that down the road, they're recommending that we do this additional testing just to make sure it's good.
And
So,
our engineer thinks it's necessary.
Right.
And architect.
right, so, but just so you know, this could be problematic if the results come back. When I say problematic, it costs more than initially thought, but hopefully it comes back fine.
Where is the retaining wall?
It's kind of, okay, so, you know, our property goes out to 47, but then it bumps out wider when you get back off of 47. So I believe it's where it bumps out towards Ash Road.
Okay.
That corner,
Yep.
I think is
That
what I
makes sense.
understand.
Yeah, that's my
that-
understanding, is right in there too.
That's where we need a retaining
Yeah.
wall,
Right.
because there's a difference in elevation
Yeah.
there, and you don't wanna
Very much.
have to
Right.
worry about that,
Makes sense.
okay?
And they were just a little bit concerned, they wanted to do a little bit more than just the borings that we've done, and they're like, we really want this to be done right, and, you know, let's spend a few extra dollars just to do the test, make sure, and it made sense to me, I'm like, you know, if we're doing let's make sure it doesn't fall down, and
Right, we don't wanna put up a retaining
Right.
wall and then have it collapse.
for $2,000, something like that sounds like a deal.
Right.
But, you know.
than the long-term
Right.
implications.
Right.
Yeah.
I make a motion to approve the contract as presented.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Deanna. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the contract for the stability analysis as presented. Anybody have any further questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. You may have noticed that we have a whole list of policy first reads.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna kind of hit some of these. I'm not gonna go through each one unless you want me to, I can. But we're not taking any action on these are for next month. And really, none of these are really gonna have a whole lot of change in operations. Like the school board ballot issue one that I'm looking at right now, it just basically says, like this year is a great example for us. We have 2 open spots, 2 people are running. When do you actually have to have an election? It just outlines that if we had like a bond issue, we have to have an election, kind of like when you guys were running.
Right.
So it just kind of outlines that a little cleaner. So nothing really changes any of our operations. The only thing that might actually have a little bit of impact on operations is the one about the IDs, suicide awareness and prevention. It requires us to put the 988 suicide and crisis lifeline number on all our student IDs. So that'll be something noticeable that people will see. But other than that, like one of the policy changes says that guardians can't distribute marijuana on school property. That's not really a change in our operations. Still wouldn't probably allow that. So I don't, some of these are just kind of interesting why the changes are here, but they are. So anyway, then Dr. Ross met with the discipline committee and reviewed JGR and some other things. Dr. Ross, anything you'd like to talk about on that?
Sure. So there's a number of recommendations that the committee came to. I suppose the big one, and Mrs. Alfred alluded to it during her report, is, and this would be across all grade levels, although I'm sure it would just be a secondary thing, would be the creation of what we're calling the STEP program, and that's going to be the student, what was the T stand for? Oh my God. You stuck around.
Okay.
So anyway, it's something an education program. So it's all about providing a non-suspension alternative to students that are found in possession of a controlled substance or alcohol on a first offense, non-violent nature. So ultimately, what it would look like, and obviously, you all can read through it, but students, if they are found, say, in possession of a vape that contains THC, then our status quo is they receive a 10-day suspension, and then that's referred to me, and then we have a certain protocol. We utilize the PASS program. This would, in partnership with Preferred Family, that family would have the option to accept, instead of a 10-day suspension, they would immediately go to Alpha for those 10 days. But they would have to agree to, for the student to complete an evaluation through Preferred Family. And again, this is to identify triggers to addiction and try to treat that if we can. Ooh, maybe it's treatment.
Yes.
All right, so anyway.
That's what it is.
Dr. Ross, this is yours.
So anyway, that student would have to then, they would be bound to the treatment plan that Preferred Family gave to them. They would have to successfully complete whatever it is, if it's like a meeting with one of their counselors once a month or whatever, but they would have to complete 90 days of that. If they were unsuccessful in completing 90 days, then they would receive the original 10-day suspension. So that, it gives them that, and some families may not be interested in that, and then they can remain in the status quo. So that's throughout. Additionally, for the high school JGR policy, our committee wanted to see a little bit of tighter, or I guess firmer consequences for those that are found guilty of academic dishonesty, specifically on a subsequent offense. So not changing for first or second offense, but subsequent, eliminating students' ability to receive credit for that assignment. So if they have been found guilty of cheating 3 or more times, they no longer receive credit. So that was a recommendation that the committee made. Let's see, others. There is a small language change to the cell phone policy for K through 5. Really just to clarify, the current cell phone policy states that students cannot have cell phones during school hours. But then that creates a little ambiguity about, well, what about what the elementary schools refer to as wait time between, if they arrive at 7 as they're waiting for, to get to their classroom, and then likewise at the end of the day, as they're waiting for pickup or whatever, it seems to be included in with the school day, but they wanted it more defined, and so that we added language that would define that as also being off limits during that time. As a recommendation, there is also K-5 for the district wellness program. Currently, our elementaries offer 2 20-minute recess periods per day. There was a question earlier this year about if, because by state law they have to offer 1 20-minute recess period, and so the question became, can removal of the second recess period be a course of action that the elementary school could take to address behavior. And so, again, the language of the policy seemed to indicate that all the student was owed was the 20 minutes that was state mandated, but the recommendation was, again, just a little bit more clarifying language that all that the student must retain is that state mandated 20 minutes, and which would leave the other 20-minute section up for grabs, so to speak, as a discipline consequence. So that's another recommendation that's in the district wellness program. And then finally, and really what we spent the majority of our time talking about was JFCI. Some of our parent participants in the committee came and spoke with a great deal of candor about the potential of a student losing parking privileges if they are found in a random drug test if they were testing hot during a random drug test, or if they refuse a random drug test. Policy currently states that they lose parking privileges for 10 days if they're not otherwise involved in an activity. So the point that was brought up was there is possibility in the world that a student under the age, or anybody really, because under 21 it doesn't matter, but a student does have through their parents a medical marijuana card. And so if that parent then administers that medicine during like 2 weeks prior to the test, that THC would still be in their system, detectable through a urinalysis, even though they were not under the influence or exhibiting any symptoms or anything like that. So it created that possibility. How likely that is, I don't know. And so to allow for the discussion of that, because right now it was just a straight no, under no means, by no means can it. The recommendation through the committee was adding a line that basically just states if the student can produce a medical marijuana card, then the facts would be brought to the superintendent to determine if the consequences were appropriate or not. Not that it would be free to get out of jail, but that the superintendent would review it. So those are the recommendations per the committee.
Thank you. So again, we don't take any action on this. Dr. Klingensmith, do you think that we will take action on these policies with the current board at the
Correct.
next meeting?
Yep, it'll be old
Or-
business.
That's what I thought, since we introduced them this time with the current board.
Yep.
Probably vote on them.
Yep, so the old business will occur with this current board, the next month we'll reorganize, and then new business starts with the new board.
Right, and I assumed we would kind of move this to old business.
Correct.
Since it's continuing from this.
And that'll give Sarah a month to read them.
I know, Sarah can go
peruse them.
through them with a
I'm gonna miss
fine tooth
that.
comb. And I know we were talking about that, we're gonna need to have somebody replace her research skills.
You're normally the one who
somehow,
looks
so.
for the grammar errors.
Yeah. Yes, and Carolyn's good at
Yeah.
going through them with a fine tooth comb. We'll be okay, I think.
Yeah, we'll
but
be fine.
Team
it's-
effort.
It's not.
She can email us.
Should I just start becoming a speaker?
Yeah.
Yes,
Well, you will be able to see all of this still. you
Yes.
know,
That's
So
right.
you
Probably
can,
not.
you can go through them.
Sure, yeah, I'm gonna miss that.
And
I learned-
Ginger as well.
I learned this the hard way, it pays the same.
That's the dream. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about any of those that you need answered tonight? All right. Then moving on to miscellaneous, do we have some celebrations?
Well, I know I was not the only one that attended the musical at Blackhawk, and it's just so fun
That
to
was
see
great.
the performance. I mean, there's just so many students involved in it. You can tell that they love it. My favorite moment was though when I took my baby out in the hallway and I saw a young, what I thought to be mom, run out and frantically put the baby on the ground and change the sensor diaper. And so she'd been assigned the baby. So it was really fun to see
It
like
was-
the family
it
consumer
was not a real
sciences
baby.
student trying to take care of her baby while I was taking care of my baby. And she looked at her and she goes, I didn't know I was gonna get assigned at the same time as my sister's musical. And she ran back in. So that was a fun part. But other than that funny moment, it was fun to see, and the room was packed with support. It was just a wonderful night.
Yes. Shout out to all of the students involved and to the directors and everybody who
It's
made it
fantastic.
happen. Parents, I know the directors were giving a lot of credit to the parents for helping come up with all the props and all the costumes and all that. It just takes a village to put something really good like that together, so it was very enjoyable.
It's fantastic. I'd like to give a shout out to, just because we had National Signing Day in February, and not to go through any of the individuals themselves, but just Mr. Arnett and all he does a great job of putting those out on social media and stuff, and we just had a slew, I mean, from every sport that you can think
Saw a
of,
lot.
and so it's just really cool to see our kids continuing their education and going on further, so it's really cool. So congratulations to all those kids, and congratulations to their coaches for supporting that. Because one thing I really noticed this time too was not only was the kid there, I mean, their teammates were there, and it was just a really big thing. So to prove the point that sports and extracurricular activities are so important in the whole process of the educational system. So pretty cool.
Anything else for celebrations? Okay, workshop topics, we have nothing here. Does anybody feel like we need to have a work session this month for any reason? Okay,
Nothing here.
okay. So then we are ready to set the next regular meeting, which will be April 10th.
Make a motion to set the next Board of Education meeting for April 10th, 2025.
I'll second.
Jeff, thank you, Sarah. Motion's been made and seconded to set the next regular Board of Education meeting for April 10th, 2025. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And then we need to do the closed session.
I'll make a motion to set the next closed session to immediately precede the regular April 10th, 2025 meeting.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded, thank you, to set the next closed session to immediately precede the regular April 10th, 2025 meeting. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. And motion carries, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And the meeting is adjourned. Thank you to everybody.
It's halftime. Get home in time. What'd you say that? I don't know.